Hey everyone, and a massive welcome back to the channel. Seriously, it's so great to have you joining me today. Before we dive into this really important topic, I want to send out the biggest, warmest wishes to every single person watching. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, I truly hope you're feeling healthy, energized, and taking fantastic care of yourselves. Drink some water, stretch a little, and let's get into something fascinating that affects every single one of us. What happens to your amazing brain when you don't drink enough water? You might know that feeling, a dry mouth, maybe a headache creeping in, feeling a bit sluggish or foggy-headed. But did you know that when you're dehydrated, your actual brain physically changes? It sounds like science fiction, but it's absolutely true. Your brain shrinks slightly. Not in a scary, permanent way, but enough to make a real difference in how you feel and function. Let's unpack why this happens and why it matters so much for your everyday life. Think of your brain for a second. It's this incredible, 3-pound universe inside your skull, made up of billions of nerve cells called neurons, all constantly chatting to each other with electrical signals and chemicals. It's the command center for everything you do, think, and feel. But here's the thing, your brain is also mostly water. About 75% of its weight comes from water. It's like a super sophisticated, living sponge floating in a protective bath of fluid inside your skull. This water isn't just filling space, it's absolutely essential for the brain to work properly. It helps create the electrical charges that neurons use to communicate. It cushions the brain from bumps. It flushes out waste products. It transports vital nutrients and hormones to where they're needed. Your brain is constantly working, and water is its fundamental fuel and coolant. So, when your overall body water levels drop, which is what dehydration means, your brain feels it first and feels it hard. So, how does dehydration actually lead to this temporary shrinkage? Imagine a plump, juicy grape. That's your well-hydrated brain cell. Now, picture that same grape left out in the sun, slowly losing moisture and turning into a raisin. That wrinkling, shrinking effect? That's similar to what happens to your brain cells when they don't have enough water. Water molecules are crucial for maintaining the structure and size of cells. When water becomes scarce throughout your body, your brain isn't magically exempt. Water starts to be pulled out of the brain tissue itself to try and maintain critical functions elsewhere, like keeping your blood volume up so your heart can keep pumping effectively. This loss of water from the brain cells and the spaces between them causes the entire brain tissue to lose volume. It literally shrinks away slightly from the skull. Scientists can actually see this happen using brain scans like MRIs. People who are dehydrated show a noticeable reduction in brain volume compared to when they're well hydrated. It's a physical response to a lack of resources. This shrinkage isn't just a curious anatomical fact. It directly causes a bunch of the symptoms you probably associate with being thirsty or dehydrated. That foggy feeling, the difficulty concentrating, the sense that your thoughts are just moving slower, that's largely because your shrinking brain is physically pulling away from the inside of your skull. Normally, your brain fits snugly, but comfortably within its bony case, cushioned by that special fluid we mentioned earlier, called cerebrospinal fluid. But when the brain shrinks due to dehydration, it creates a slightly larger gap between the brain and the skull. This stretching pulls on the delicate membranes covering the brain and the sensitive blood vessels running through it. That stretching and pulling is a major trigger for dehydration headaches, that dull, persistent ache that often sets in when you haven't had enough water. It's like your brain is literally tugging on its own pain sensors. But the effects go way beyond just a headache. Remember those billions of neurons constantly firing messages? Dehydration makes that communication much harder. With less water available, the environment inside and around the brain cells changes. The balance of electrolytes, those essential minerals like sodium and potassium that carry electrical charges, gets disrupted. Electrical signals travel slower and less efficiently between neurons. Chemical messengers, neurotransmitters, might not be produced or transported as effectively. Think of it like trying to have a conversation in a noisy, static-filled phone line instead of a clear connection. This slowdown in communication leads directly to cognitive difficulties. You might find it harder to focus on a task, remember details, solve problems, or make decisions quickly. Your reaction times can slow down. That feeling of mental fatigue, of your brain just feeling tired, even if your body isn't, is a classic sign of your neurons struggling without enough water. Even your mood can take a hit. Dehydration is linked to increased feelings of irritability, anxiety, and even low mood. It physically makes it harder for your brain to regulate your emotions smoothly. The impact of dehydration on the brain isn't always subtle, especially as it gets worse. Beyond the fog and the headache, you might experience dizziness or lightheadedness. This happens partly because the reduced blood volume from dehydration affects blood pressure, and partly because the brain itself, including the areas responsible for balance and spatial awareness, isn't functioning optimally. You might feel unusually tired or lethargic. Again, your brain is a massive energy consumer, and dehydration makes everything it does more difficult and inefficient. In more severe cases, dehydration can lead to significant confusion and disorientation. Your brain is struggling so much to process basic information and maintain normal function that your perception of reality can become impaired. It's a stark reminder of just how dependent this incredible organ is on a simple, fundamental resource: water. Now, you might be wondering, how dehydrated do I need to be before my brain starts shrinking? The answer is not very. We're not talking about being stranded in the desert levels of dehydration here. Research shows that even mild dehydration, losing just 1 to 2% of your body weight in fluids, can start to cause these measurable changes in brain structure and function. For someone weighing 150 pounds, about 68 kilograms, that's only 1.5 to 3 pounds, 0.7 to 1.4 kilograms of water loss. How easily can you lose that? Surprisingly easily. A moderate workout, especially in warm weather, can do it. Spending a few hours in a hot, dry environment without sipping water. Even just going about a busy day, forgetting to drink because you're focused on work or errands. Mild dehydration creeps up on you long before you feel intensely thirsty. Your thirst mechanism is actually a bit slow. By the time you feel genuinely thirsty, you're often already mildly dehydrated, and your brain is already starting to feel the effects. That mid-afternoon slump or difficulty focusing at work. It might not just be boredom. It could very well be your brain asking for a glass of water. The good news in all of this is that this brain shrinkage is temporary and reversible. This is crucial to understand. We're not talking about permanent brain damage here. When you rehydrate by drinking water or fluids with electrolytes, your body fairly quickly redistributes that water. It replenishes the fluids in your bloodstream, which then allows water to be restored to your brain tissue. Those shriveled raisin cells plump back up towards their healthy grape state. The brain regains its normal volume, easing the tension on those membranes and blood vessels, which usually makes headaches fade. The fluid environment normalizes, allowing electrolytes to balance out again and electrical signals to flow freely. Cognitive function typically bounces back, the fog lifts, focus returns, thinking becomes clearer, and mood often improves. It's a powerful testament to the brain's resilience and its fundamental need for hydration. Rehydrating is like giving your brain the fresh, clear fuel it desperately needs to power back up to full speed. Understanding this connection between water and your brain is incredibly empowering. It means you have a direct tool to influence your mental clarity, focus, mood, and energy levels throughout the day. Don't wait until you're parched. Make sipping water a consistent habit. Keep a water bottle nearby as a visual reminder. Notice the color of your urine. Pale yellow is good. Dark yellow often means you need more water. Pay attention to those early signs. A slight headache coming on, feeling a bit irritable, finding it hard to concentrate. Often, reaching for a glass of water is a much more effective solution than reaching for another coffee, which can actually contribute to dehydration or just pushing through the fog. Think of it as preventative maintenance for your most important organ. By keeping your brain well hydrated, you're giving it the best possible environment to learn, create, solve problems, manage emotions, and experience the world clearly. It's one of the simplest yet most profound things you can do for your overall well-being. Your amazing, complex, beautiful brain is literally swimming in its need for water, so keep the fluids flowing. Stay hydrated, stay sharp, take care of yourselves, and thanks so much for learning with me today.